4,500 years ago, the great superpowers were defined by the monumental. In Egypt and Mesopotamia, society was structured to serve the pharaohs and kings who commissioned these massive stone legacies. Stepping onto the streets of Harappa reveals a different set of priorities. You are walking down a wide, sun-baked avenue that feels strikingly modern. The city follows a rigorous grid. Every major avenue and side street intersects at a 90-degree angle, maintaining that exact geometry for hundreds of miles across the Indus Valley. Even the building materials are standardized. Every brick pulled from these walls follows the same precise dimension ratio, regardless of which city it was manufactured in. Archaeologists have searched these ruins for decades, yet they have found no royal palaces, no standing armies, and no traces of a supreme ruler. The mystery is how a civilization managed to build a perfectly uniform smart city without a central state to enforce the blueprints. In Harappa, the massive investment in brickwork was focused on the residential blocks. This society directed its resources toward urban planning and public goods for the general population. Inside these homes, the quality of life was unusually high for the Bronze Age. Almost every household had its own private water well and a dedicated brick platform for bathing. Beneath the streets, a brick-lined drainage network ran in parallel with the alleys. These covered trenches used gravity to pull wastewater away. This level of public hygiene was unique. No other contemporary civilization managed a sanitation system this integrated or this widespread. Coordination on this scale, across thousands of homes, requires a massive management of resources. Without a king to draft workers or collect taxes, the question remains, who was actually running the city? The evidence points toward the market square. Here, the city was organized by powerful merchant guilds and caravan leaders, the Sarthavahas, who managed the flow of wealth. These groups left their mark on unicorn seals, ancient corporate IDs used to authenticate shipments. The unicorn identified the merchant as a member of the formal commercial network. Below it is an offering stand symbol. Researchers believe its 100 variations represent different merchant guilds. Analysis of these seal counts shows a specific market structure. A few massive hub guilds dominated the vast majority of trade, supported by a long tail of smaller local operations. We see the mechanics of this cooperation in sealed ceramic jars found at sites like Lothal. These jars bear stamps that functioned as equity certificates, allowing multiple partners to pool their resources and share the profits of a single trade venture. This decentralized corporate network was the organizing force that funded the city. Those investments supported massive infrastructure projects, like the tidal dockyard at Lothal. This brick-lined basin allowed ships to dock and offload goods. To maintain trust across these distances, the guilds used a strict system of stone weights. These were carved to exact binary units, like the standard 13.6-gram weight, ensuring that a measurement in one city matched the measurements in another. This precision allowed Harappan merchants to integrate themselves into the wider world, trading textiles and beads as far away as Mesopotamia and the mountains of Central Asia. This global trade is what drove the civilization toward standardization. When the dominant guilds used specific weights and brick sizes to make business easier, the rest of the cities adopted those standards to remain part of the network. The mathematical grid of the city was a byproduct of this commerce. A predictable street layout and uniform building materials made it easier to manage the logistics of a massive, self-organizing economy. This system was a scale-free network. It was incredibly robust against small, localized problems, but it was also entirely reliant on its major hub cities to maintain the flow of trade. Eventually, the environmental foundations shifted. The river systems that supported the hubs either changed course or dried up, cutting off the vital trade routes that the guilds depended on. When the dominant hub cities could no longer sustain their commercial volume, it triggered a cascade. The entire interconnected system collapsed because the central nodes that held the network together were gone. The Indus Valley proves that order can emerge from cooperation rather than command. They maintained a stable urban society for 7 centuries by prioritizing public infrastructure and self-organizing trade, a system that functioned entirely without a king.